Hello everyone and welcome back to the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise here on Madden 21. Today is week 7. The Jaguars are off this week, so instead of a game, we're actually just going to take a look around the league and see where we stand currently in terms of team stats or in terms of as individual players. And we're actually going to look at who the league leaders are. We'll check all of the transactions that have happened, including re-signing, so we can get a look at potential free agents moving forward. And we're going to go ahead and get through that, and then we'll preview week 7. So this is going to be a shorter video, or I'm sorry, we're going to preview week 8. This will be a shorter video, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So here we have Gardner Minshew's numbers. You see a completion percentage of 66%, 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Of course, had that 3 interception game last week against the Lions. That wasn't a good game at all, but Minshew has been more or less solid. He's only been sacked 10 times. I think that's kind of okay, but he's obviously not what we're looking for in the quarterback moving forward unless we get a dramatic improvement in the second half of the season. So it's going to be tough to figure out what we're going to do. So now we go to running backs, and here is James Robinson's numbers. Only 108 carries. I think he probably should have a little bit more at this point. 525 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging 87 yards a game, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. So that's actually really good. But as you can see, we're not getting a lot of help. Chris Thompson is sort of the receiving running back, and we run a lot of D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole ran those for jet sweeps, and Minshew's taken off a couple of times. He's fumbled twice. Nobody else has fumbled on the team, so that's interesting. But we're not. We're primarily relying on James Robinson. And I don't know if maybe we want to address that in free agency or the draft, is to get another running back in here that is a little bit better than Chris Thompson. I don't know, we'll see. Now you see receiving, DJ Chark, 27 catches, 523 yards and 6 touchdowns. Nobody else has any more than 2, and that's Tyler Eifert. Westbrook and Cole are good possession receivers. Eifert's a good possession receiver. Chark is really the only explosive wide receiver we have. I mean, Westbrook has done some pretty good stuff moving, going into the last few games, but I think his role is going to expand. We haven't used Laviska Shenault, and I kind of want to do that, but Keelan Cole's been actually performing pretty well, so I don't know if we're really going to throw Keelan Cole under the bus like that. Maybe we'll try to get Shenault in on a few more plays moving forward, I think. But nobody else is really moving the needle for me. So we'll fix it as we go forward here. Here you see the blind play. It's been pretty good. Obviously, AJ Cann isn't that good. I talked about it at the start of the whole series that we'd probably be moving on from him. Jawan Taylor is a rookie, so it's not like he's done that bad. But everybody else in the offensive line's done pretty well. So I think we're set there, except at right guard we can move forward with that. Now we move on to defense. So you see Miles Jack, 73 tackles. He and Joe Schobert are doing excellent. We got Josh Jones, he's doing well, and Jared Wilson also doing well. Leon Jacobs isn't really on the field that much since we're primarily in nickel, but when he is on the field, he does make some plays. So, but aside from last week when everybody was terrible at tackling, I don't know what that was about, but hopefully we fix that in the next game that we have to play, because we're going to need to. But if you're looking at what we're doing here, Jack and Schobert are on the field a lot, so of course they would have the most tackles. Jones and Wilson, the 2 safeties. It's not good when your safeties have a high number of tackles, but we're not in base defense anymore. The league's a little different now. Everybody's primarily running a 3-wide set, so not a whole lot going on with Leon Jacobs, but it's not his fault. It's just the situations that we're in, and he's not making a lot of plays. In terms of sacks, Devon Hamilton is playing really, really well. Individually, he is just probably the best defensive lineman we have on the team. He and Doug Costin's not really on the field a lot. Taven Bryan and Avery Jones inside are pretty good. But Hamilton, it has been just a standout. He leads the team with sacks. To lead the team with sacks when you have, what was supposed to be a really good edge rusher in Josh Allen, and you're beating him in sacks with his interior pressure. I think that's good for our defense, but doesn't really speak well for Josh Allen. Josh Allen only has 2 sacks. He's actually being outplayed right now by Caleb on Chason, so we're not getting a lot of pressure, and it's not really helping. It's really not helping our defense. We have to find a way to get more pressure. We might have to start blitzing a little bit more moving forward, but yeah, Josh Allen just not doing it for me right now. Now we go to interceptions. Sidney Jones leads us with 3. I don't know what to think about Sidney Jones at this point. Sidney Jones has had some up and down games. He has interceptions, and then he gets beat deep all the time. Or he misses tackles, or he just loses his assignment, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, and it's up in the air whether or not we're going to re-sign him, because depending on where we pick, we might be in the market for a corner at that point as well, so we'll see. Let's go over the kickers here. Josh Lambo has been perfect all season, and Logan Cook's been really good too. And now we look at the league leaders in touchdowns and passing yards. Leaders right now is Josh Allen, followed by Matt Ryan. There's our guy Gardner Minshew. He's in 3rd. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ben Roethlisberger, Nick Foles, Phillip Rivers. Tom Brady's still hanging around. That would be the top 10. You see most passing touchdowns goes to Josh Allen, or tied to Josh Allen and Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger all at 11. Minshew's in 4th with 10. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield has 10 marks. Baker Mayfield has 1,500 yards. Then we go to most interceptions, and that, of course, is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo at 16 interceptions. Yeah, the 49ers just, I don't know, their offense is very sloppy, and obviously Sam Darnold at 15. 5 touchdowns, 60 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, 15 interceptions for Darnold. Oh man, that is rough going for the 49ers and the Jets. They're not looking so hot. So now we move on to running backs. The NFL's leading rusher is Derrick Henry at 658 yards and 5 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley is 2nd, 539. Ezekiel Elliott, 528, 7 touchdowns. There's our guy James Robinson. He's in 4th, 525. Not too many running backs over 500 yards, but you're seeing this is kind of the what do I want to call it? This is kind of the randomness of the league when you're watching every game, because this is what's going on. I'm watching all these games, and everybody's playing pretty similarly, and you're just seeing it. Most touchdowns, I do believe, is Zeke at 7. Yep, but you're seeing not a lot of teams are running the ball, but they're primarily it's a passing league, so everybody's passing the ball. So you'll see some weird stuff going on here, but it's no surprise Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing. Now we go to receiving. Stephon Diggs, 604 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's the other lead receiver. There's DJ Chark. He's in 2nd, and with 523 yards and 6 touchdowns. And there's Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill. You would think that Tyreek Hill would be a lot higher, but he's actually not. And obviously in that little rundown that we did of the quarterbacks, Pat Mahomes wasn't in the top 10. And neither was Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson's more of the running quarterback at this point. So, but you're seeing our guys are hanging in there. There's TJ Hawkinson and George Kittle being pretty good at receiving for tight ends. They're all over it. There's DeAndre Hopkins had 5 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley, Juju Smith-Schuster, Corey Davis, DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, a lot of guys in here. T. Higgins, for the Bengals not really playing so well, they're putting up the points. Roquan Smith, the NFL's leading tackler. The NFL's leader in sacks is Kyle Van Noy of the Dolphins, tied with DeForest Buckner. I did double check this because for a long time in Madden, it did not actually calculate sack stats correctly, and the leaderboard would be all messed up, but that is actually 100% accurate at this point. Kyle Van Noy and DeForest Buckner have 11 sacks. They lead the league. Most interceptions, That goes to Stephon Gilmore, who has 6. And you got Levante David, Ricardo Allen, Casey Hayward, AJ Boye. That's Will Parks there down at the bottom of 4. Well, sure, we'll check out forced fumbles. That's Bobby Wagner. No surprise there. Jalen Smith. So, yeah, defensively, a lot of guys doing a lot of things here. So, I think we're going to go and move on to team stats at this point. And we'll go there. So, obviously, Buffalo is the number 1 offense. Total offense of 2,416 yards. Followed by Kansas City. And you see, Kansas City's the second best offense in the league, but they don't have the passing offense. 1,704 yards. I don't know if Pat Mahomes has been injured or not, but yeah, that seems to be going on there. The Jaguars, we are the 3rd offense in the NFL. That's kind of crazy. The worst offense, so the Bills are the number 1 passing offense. The Jaguars are in 3rd, and then the NFL's best rushing offense is New England, who is undefeated at this point, 772 yards. Ravens, Cowboys, all that. We are the NFL's top point scorer at 28.7 points a game. So I think that's pretty good for us. I guess we know we're only 3-3, or no, we're 4. We're 3-3. Yes. Most first downs goes to the Giants. Now we'll move on to defense. Or what's the Cowboys? That's right. NFL's best defense is Green Bay, who has not allowed anything. And I'm searching for the Jaguars, and we are way down here at the bottom. We are the worst total defense in the NFL. So we have the 3rd best offense and the worst defense in the league. I think it's just because it's not CPU versus CPU. I think it's the human element makes that. The NFL's best pass defense is Baltimore. That makes sense. The worst pass defense, or the worst pass defense is Houston, and that also makes sense because they're not a great defensive team. The first best rush defense is Green Bay, and the worst is the Rams. So it's just, I guess, a combination of things that makes us the worst defense in the league. There we go. I think we're like 8th or 9th, 7th or 8th there in terms of rush offense or rush defense, and then we're pretty bad at rush defense. Total points allowed. Washington has only allowed 69 points. Nice. The worst points allowed is the Tennessee Titans at 168 points. No sacks. This kind of gets out of hand here. Like the Steelers, Cardinals, Bucks, the Rams, the Buccaneers all have 30 or more sacks. That's kind of, I don't know. That's on pace for like 70. So I think that's pretty close to the record. Most interceptions go to Seattle. Least interceptions to the Raiders. That makes sense because the Raiders have not won a game. And the most goes to Denver. Denver has the most interceptions. Who would have saw that coming if they had the most interceptions? So we have the best 3rd down offense in the league, next to the tie with the Texans and Chiefs at 53%. I try to keep us in 3rd and not forever, so I think that's. But the separation on this is it's pretty close. Obviously, I don't know. I'm even checking 4th down percentage. Best in the red zone are the Falcons. The Falcons are at 94%, and the worst is the Jets because the Jets don't get to the red zone. If you've been paying attention to highlights that I put up for Jets games, they're not really in the red zone when they score. So it makes sense that they just have a terrible percentage to be there. So, yeah. So I think we're going to move on here. So we're moving on to transactions, and here's all the folks that have been re-signed as of week 7. And you see a lot of these guys aren't huge things. There you see the biggest one right there, Cam Newton, 1 year, $18 million going back. He's going to stay with New England. We re-signed Cam Robinson. I forgot to put that on there, but we did that last week. You'll see it's not a lot of guys getting signed to huge deals. There's Dietrich Wise got paid. There's Raekwon McMillan going back to this is one that was a little bit of a shocker to me that Yannick Ngakoue is going to get $70 million to stay in Baltimore. I think in real life they let him go. So yeah, you're just seeing a lot of these guys. We re-signed Trey Herndon. I liked what I saw from Trey Herndon. He did have an interception in the last game, so we're going to keep him around, which also does not bode well for Sidney Jones. It also doesn't bode well for DJ Hayden, but at this point DJ Hayden's kind of kind of a thing there. Shaquille Barrett getting $70 million on a 4-year deal to stay with the Buccaneers. The Bucs also signed Ndamukong Suh there at the bottom. Can't talk. He gets $30 million for 2 years. There's Marcus Golden. That's kind of a bizarre sign to me that they would re-sign Marcus Golden and give him $40 million. Why would you ever do that? He's not really that good of a pass rusher in terms of his production. Colts signed Malik Hooker off his rookie deal, so that's good for them. I think we're just going to start moving through here because we're looking for bigger contracts. Deron Harmon staying for 20-30 minutes. There's Joe Thuney. He's going to stay with the Patriots. I know he went to the Chiefs in real life, but he's going to stay in New England. KJ Wright, 3 years, almost $50 million, almost $55 million. I think that's kind of a mistake to sign him for that much, but maybe you want to keep the team together. There's Bud Dupree. He's getting a big pay raise. He's going to almost get $70 million. So it looks like the linebacker pass rusher market is at $70 million. And there's a $75 million contract that's going to go to Allen Robinson to stay in Chicago. So if you were possibly hoping that we got Allen Robinson later, that's not going to happen. And we re-signed D.D. Westbrook. I think I pointed that out already when we re-signed him in week 4. That he's getting 3 years, almost $25 million. It's not a huge deal for us. We will have a lot of cap space, but you're seeing a lot of these guys just not. The teams are keeping these guys. Justin Simmons is almost getting $60 million, getting $55 million for 4 years. Levante David getting $40 million for 3 years. The Buccaneers are going to be really, really out of money. In real life, Hunter Henry went to the Patriots, but he's going to get almost $53 million at this point to go to stay in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Sammy Watkins got a good contract there to stay with Kansas City. Marlon Mack's going to get a 5-year, almost $35 million deal with the Colts. Yeah, we're looking for kind of the bigger deals here. Taylor Moton is going to get a $35 million contract. Now, I understand why that would happen because offensive linemen are, they're not easy to come by. So I understand why the Panthers would make that move, but I wouldn't. At the bottom there, you see Corey Davis. He got 4 years, almost $50 million to stay in Tennessee. I know he went to, where did he go, to Miami? No, he went to the Jets. Jonnu Smith went to the Patriots. He's not going to go now in this franchise. Matt Milano, 5 years, $70 million. Like I said, the linebacker market apparently is set at $70 million because that's what everybody seems to be signing for. So hopefully and thankfully we don't have big free agent linebackers upcoming. There's William Jackson. He's going to get $33 million, $32 million for 3 years with the Bengals. That's kind of a weird contract. There's Chris Godwin. He gets 4 years at almost $64 million. 4-year deal. That's pretty good. There's the big one though. Cowboys re-signed Dak Prescott, 5 years, $168 million. I guess they found their guy. They're not doing so hot this season in the franchise. I don't know. I guess they're just like, well, we're not going to get another quarterback. So, and to be fair, the quarterbacks in this draft class that are coming up, there's only one first rounder. So, and they're probably not going to be in position to sign him. So these are all the Trent Williams is going to stay with the 49ers. Richard Sherman staying with the 49ers. So yeah, there's a lot of people who got paid. A lot of guys who just will stick around. Kenny Galladay's going to stay in Detroit. That's 4 years and $50 million to him. Aaron Jones at the bottom there. He's got 5 years and $47 million at that. Donta Hightower, J.C. Jackson are going to stay in. A lot of these teams. There's Corey Linsley. He's getting re-signed. 3 years, $30 million. A lot of these teams are just, they're taking care of their own first. And, that's what you have to do. I don't know how the Rams are signing anybody, but you're not seeing the Saints sign anybody because they're in cap hell. So the Ravens have still have Matthew Judon. Shaquille Griffin got $44 million to go to stay in Seattle. Jadeveon Clowney, he's going to get $70 million. It's pretty much a $65 to $70 million market for that is kind of the base market for linebackers. So there you see Eric Wilson, 6 years, $60 million. I don't know all these people getting all this money. Aaron Godley and Will Fuller are going to stay in Houston too. So there you go. I did try to check trades, but then I remember that the CPU doesn't trade in this game. I think he may be retired. Okay. So that's that. I think we are about done here. Yeah, we're just checking in to see if anybody got picked up. But that's it. So now we're going to take a look at our free agents. You got Sidney Jones, Keelan Cole, DJ Hayden, Al Woods. A lot of these guys I don't really think we have too much interest in keeping, except maybe Sidney Jones, but he's been so up and down that it's kind of hard to make that decision right now. I think we're also going to keep Dwayne Smoot, but a lot of these guys I don't think we're going to keep, and probably Josh Jones as well. But a lot of these guys I think we're going to let walk. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see as the season progresses, but it's a little early right now. And now we'll check the scores from Week 7. Of course, we were off. The Thursday game, the Giants beat Philadelphia 27-6. Philadelphia has now not reached the end zone in 12 straight quarters. So, cause for concern there. Baltimore over Pittsburgh 15-3. Cleveland beats Cincinnati 24-3. Houston falls to Green Bay 24-14. The Chargers beat Miami 13-10. Atlanta holds on to beat Detroit 20-13. New Orleans beats up on the Carolina Panthers 23-6. Dallas actually gets a victory this week as they beat Washington 20-17. Buffalo defeats the Jets 24-10. In the late games, we have Arizona falling to Seattle 20-3. Kansas City being upset by Denver 17-9. The Patriots will remain undefeated as they beat San Francisco 20-17 in overtime. And then the Sunday night game, Tampa Bay beats the Raiders 27-17. The Raiders are now 0-7, and the Chicago Bears get walloped by the Rams 26-7. All right, and now we are on to Week 8. So in week number 8, we are going to be taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are, of course, led by Justin Herbert. Herbert has had a pretty successful season, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks, not a lot of flashy stuff going on, but he has had a consistent game. And being a rookie, that's pretty impressive. They're not asking him to do too much, obviously. So we're looking at the numbers, and the fact is that they're 6-1, and they've only losing one game means you're doing a lot right. They are just flanked by really good receivers, a really good tight end. They have a very, very complete offense. I don't feel like their offensive line is that good, but they have a good offensive line. But they also have probably one of the best pass rushes in the league. They have Joey Bosa, of course. They have Jerry Tillery. They have Melvin Ingram. They have the guys on defense to put pressure on a quarterback. Also, Casey Hayward, who, as we saw, is one of the top defenders in interceptions. He's got 5. They have Chris Harris. They have Julio Nye. And, of course, they have Derwin James. They have, outside of, a couple of linebackers, they have a very, very solid defense and a very solid offense. So we're going to have our hands full with us, with the Chargers. We are playing on the 4 o'clock game schedule, so we're having to go to Los Angeles to play this game. And it's not going to be very easy to even compete in this game. We have to play much better than we played against Detroit. Like I said, when we played Detroit in the post game against a better team, we would have lost that game. So we have a game similar to that. We are definitely not going to win. I like to be optimistic about our chances against, anybody, but it's not going to be easy at all to play against this team and come out on top. We have to play similarly to the way we played against the Dolphins and against the Bengals. But the Chargers are a lot better than Miami. They've already beat Miami, and they're obviously a lot better than the Bengals. So it's not going to be a fun game to try and get, you know, it's not going to be a game where we can make mistakes. We have to be able to run the ball. We haven't been able to really run the ball too much the past couple of games. We got, you know, pretty much stuffed by the Detroit defense, and we're going to have a tough time against this defense, running inside or outside. So we have to find a way to get that, and then I feel like our passing game is going to have to be shortened up so that we can move the ball effectively, stay ahead of the sticks. We can't have penalties. We can't take negative plays. If we can do those things and not turn the ball over, I feel like we should be able to at least compete and maybe even win this game. But as much as I want to be optimistic, the Chargers are 6-1. They're beating everybody. They handled Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's been running over teams. They've beaten a lot of teams fairly easily. So I hope that we can give them a competitive game, and then at the end, if we can hang around and not kill ourselves and not beat ourselves, I think we have a chance to pull this out. So we'll see. Like I said, we are the 4 o'clock game, so we will have to... what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to forego highlighting all of the early games because that would be the longest halftime ever, and I don't want that to happen. So I think we're just going to go ahead and just take the highlights of the 4 o'clock game. I'll recap all of the games from the early games at halftime, but there won't be highlights, and I'll get the highlights of the 4 o'clock game. So that's going to be it there. So that's going to be it. I'm glad this wasn't super long, and I am going to be out of here. I will be bringing you week 8 very, very shortly. I'm already working on it, and I'm also starting to put together the draft class profiles, and that'll be like a separate sort of series of videos highlighting each position because I feel like that would be taking up way too much time during the other game. So anyway, I am going to head out, so I will catch you guys when we play the Chargers, and hope you enjoy the video. Please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Helps the channel out, and we'll see you then.